Fred and Linda here on day 13 of our 25-day Westward Ho adventure. It's 8 a.m. and we are in the Bryce Canyon shuttle parking lot with plenty of room to park. People haven't started showing up yet. We're going to head over to the building and get lined up to get on the first shuttle. About a half an hour later, after they got enough people to get going, we made it to our first stop, and that was Bryce Point, and that is at the end of the shuttle line, but that's where we wanted to go because it looked like the longest hike and we wanted to get going early in the morning. A lot of walking involved with this one. And there were quite a few people parked here at the lot already. Good reason to take the shuttle. There is the trail, and like so many of the trails, it starts out very attractive trail, nice and wide, looks like real easy walking, steps built in. There's an alternate route to walk along the canyon rim. We are on our way into Bryce Canyon on a beautiful sunny morning in Utah. There's the view back to Tropic. You can actually go down to the Peekaboo Loop and make a full circle and make your way back up to this starting point, but we are going to take one leg of that and then swing up to Sunset Point. It wasn't long, and we could see that the trail was going to start to get a little more rugged as we went along, as we worked our way down into the canyon. It's what we've been finding on all of our hikes into these canyons. But there's some very beautiful terrain, and that's the only way you really get to experience it, is by taking these canyon trails. As Linda makes her way down, you could see in the distance where you hook up with the trail and wind your way down to the Peekaboo Loop. A lot of twists and turns and bends on this trail, but the scenery gets more inviting every few feet that you go. This was the perfect time of the day to be out here with the sun coming out of the east, shining on the canyon walls. Very beautiful display. Much different view than you would get in the afternoon with the sun further in the west. And up in the distance, we have a glimpse at the Hoodoos that we will be getting up close to as we get to this lower part of the trail. And up ahead, the trail takes a left turn into what appears to be an opening in the canyon face. It's interesting at times to take a glance back to see where you've come from, and then look forward to see how far you have yet to go. There are a lot of little surprises as you make your way down to the canyon. Little openings in the rock that you get to walk through. And here is a good view in the distance of the Hoodoos that we want to take a look at. Wow. And on we go, making our way down into the canyon on a real nice wide stretch of trail. But all of a sudden we were surprised to see a vehicle making its way around the curve. I'm sure it takes a bit of practice to get comfortable maneuvering that thing around on these trails. After about an hour of walking, we were just about to the bottom of the canyon. Before long, we were at the spot where they mount up and ride the mules or the horses back up to the top of the canyon. Quite a few people gathered to watch that. It's interesting to see the wranglers try to get everybody organized and going up the hill. Not everyone is used to riding a horse or a mule. So we took a look up to the top to see where we had to go to get back. And it was clear we had a long hike ahead of us to get back out of the canyon. We were about an hour into our hike. But it's very nice down here in the canyon. The trail is pretty easy to follow. So we paused for a little bit and got ready for the ascent back up to the top. This point gives you another very impressive view of the Hoodoos. There are points where you get right up close to the Hoodoos. And you're reminded at times that you are sharing this trail with horses and mules. An hour and a half into the hike and working our way back up, it was nice to see some shade once in a while and get out of the sun because it was starting to get pretty warm out there. And we had a lot of walking left to do. This time headed up. Here I'm looking back at where we had just come from. You encounter all sorts of people on this trail. Young people, older people. Sometimes it's surprising some of the younger people get a little bit woofed on their way back up as compared to some old folks like us. We do quite a bit of walking, and for the most part we kept a steady pace, and once in a while I'd take a little rest, but it was a real nice challenge to take these trails. Linda likes to stop every so often and take some pictures of the scenery for her own records and her own memories. And in addition to all the videos I've been taking, I've got the big camera along, and I like to get some shots too, some really nice still shots with the zoom lens. Here's another interesting opening in the rocks to walk through. Right at this point we had to pause and get our bearings to figure out exactly what the sign was telling us. We did not want to take the full loop back to where we came from. We wanted to proceed on to Sunset Point, and that way is to follow the path to the Navajo Loop. That would take us up to the Sunset Point. As you can see from the terrain, we still were not completely out of the canyon bottom, and we were in an area with some trees and flat trails, but we would again be going up the trail before long. The sign marked the start of the Navajo Loop. Wonderful way to go past the Hoodoos, to continue your journey back. And you go by an area called Wall Street and two bridges. A lot of interesting things to see here. Looking back again, now looking forward. A lot of steps on this section to make the ascent. Go up quite a ways in a short amount of time. This particular section is actually closed in the winter, and you can see why with all of the tight spaces in the rocks to go through. Quite a bit of work was done to make this section of the trail passable, since you have to scale your way up the side. Some brickwork laid in. Looking back again to see where we'd come from. And looking ahead, and you can see where things are shored up. Imagine it takes quite a bit to keep this all in shape, because there are severe winters here and a lot of snow and ice, and I'm sure work against keeping this all in place. And a quick look back now that we've made it to the top of the canyon again. Looking back towards the Wall Street Trail. It was almost noon, and after 3.5 hours of hiking, it felt great to come up through that gate, up to the landing area at Sunset Point. There was a pretty good crowd of people there, milling around, either heading out or coming back from a hike. We paused to take a look at the scenery from the landing area and look back on some of the other trails that we could have taken. You can take some really long hikes through that canyon. We didn't want to spend the time or effort to do all of those. After one last look from this vantage point, we decided we needed to move on to our next destination. We grabbed the next shuttle and headed back to the main shuttle point at Bryce Canyon City to pick up our vehicle and head to our next stop. At the far end of the park at Rainbow Point, a journey of 20 miles that you have to drive yourself. The shuttle doesn't go up there. Well, we've reached the end of the road, 18 miles from the entrance of the park. And there are quite a few cars up here, but it's not as crowded and hectic as the sites along the lower end of the trail, especially where the shuttle goes. And driving up, we noticed there were a lot of available parking spots at the major turnouts, and we're going to start checking those on the way back. It's an absolutely gorgeous spot. We're going to make our way around to the various observation areas up here and take a look at the terrain. At Rainbow Point, you get a real sense for how large the Bryce Canyon National Park area is. There are also a number of hiking opportunities available from Rainbow Point. A lot of great signs again to describe what you're looking at, the different features on the canyon walls. Videos can't do it all justice, and it's something you really need to see in person. Some more great graphics to look at inside the shelter area. I managed to zoom in on a glimpse back at the section of highway leading up to Rainbow Point, seeing some of the traffic coming and going on that. We just saw Rainbow Point. What'd you think of that? Was it worth the 18-mile drive?
Oh my goodness, was it ever?
Oh, you don't want to miss this. It's just amazing. The expanse of canyons and hills and mountains in the distance from this point.
Yeah, it's
and
just unbelievable.
And here it is, probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is packed.
Ish. We found our spot pretty decent.
Right.
There were a couple empties, so, but we're on the tail end of Monday Memorial Day,
So we are now about to head back down and start hitting the turnoff points.
And I don't know if you mentioned that we talked to a ranger.
We talked to a ranger,
Yeah.
and he told us the ones to hit on the way down, and every one is a right turn off the road. Makes it a lot easier. So here we go. We are now at Ponderosa Point, recommended by the ranger, and there is a trail leading from here, Agua Canyon connecting trail. And we're not up for that anymore today. What do we have here? Rather than take the walking trail, we drove to Agua Canyon Observation Point, and just like the Ponderosa Point and other points, a spectacular view of the canyon area. We are now in Lost Hat Mountain.
Wow. That's a good one.
As a bonus, I got a chance to chat with a group of Germans who were touring the area on identical rented motorcycles and certainly enjoying what they were seeing as well. We are now at our last stop on the way down at the Natural Bridge. Elevation is down about 500 feet. I find it amazing seeing all these various arches on the different stops on our trip, to think how those were formed over time and wonder how much longer they will survive time and erosion. Busy place even at 3 in the afternoon. Sitting in front of our cabin here in
Tropic, Utah.
Just 7 or 8 miles from Bryce Canyon National Park, where we've spent probably the last day and a half. Enjoying some pizza now from the pizza place
From the
next door.
Bryce Canyon
Bryce
Pizza.
Canyon Pizza Company. It's just a beautiful evening to sit out here.
It's gorgeous.
We've had a wonderful couple of days. It's just an absolutely beautiful park to see. And how many did you say there are in Utah? And what did you call the 5?
Oh, the Mighty Five.
The Mighty Five. And we have how many left?
One
left.
Zion.
Yes, we've seen the 4 of them now. And so we've got a lot of highlights to show you. So we need to get rolling on this. So pull on your hiking shoes, because there's a lot of hiking involved. So let's get started. Thanks for joining us on our visit to Bryce Canyon National Park outside of Tropic, Utah. If you enjoyed this video, well then please click like and consider subscribing to our channel, so you'll be notified when our next video in this series of our Westward Ho adventure is released. As always, enjoy your travels and take care. We'll see you in the next video.